how do I make this short and sweet? Okay, so let's start with Happy New Year. And I really wish you everything that you are wishing for yourself. So some changes will happen on my basically channel. So make sure that you're subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, then you see this like thing in the right kind of like corner, bottom corner, just click on it, because you'll be getting some series and some invitations that other people won't have an access to. They're not going to be posted like publicly. And you know, also, if you haven't already, join me on my mailing list. The link to it is my description, because that is specifically important for those of you who really want to take advantage of private readings, or who even want to take advantage of Reiki and all of these other add-ons that I actually send to my subscribers. And before we move right into the action, let me just ask you to support the channel. They're like already made, they're already out. There is $29.95, I believe, for one sign, and $59.95 for all. So you just have to go with www.cattarot.ca/annual, and basically the rest of it is history. It's going to be the order, and you get it from me as soon as I see it in my mailbox. I send that reading to you. So that really supports the channel, and this particular year I'm going to be helping lots of animals who actually cannot fend for themselves. I'm talking about all the strays all over the world that, you know, really need that really loving touch. And I really hope you can help me in actually pushing that forward. You know, maybe it is just a drop in the ocean who really cares about a kitten, who knows where it is, somewhere in Turkey, somewhere in Siberia. But you know, it matters to that pretty kitty that actually the life, the leg, whatever is needed, an eye is being saved. So without much further ado, let's jump into the reading and see what January brings for us, because this year brings lots of changes, and hence if you order your Taroscope, you're going to know all about it. So let's start, my dear friends, and see where January takes us. Hello Virgo, and welcome to your 2019. We are starting with January, of course, going in the order. And here are like, let's say, oracle cards or the general energies, which I usually do that for myself to just sort of like get a sense where the sign is. But I decided to share this process with you as well. So interestingly enough, you're getting the sun over here, and I think Capricorn headed, so you're already the second earth sign that is really getting this. And here we also have that earth energy. We have fairies. That's kind of like about that power that you're given as kind of like somebody who belongs to that particular, you know, element. Earth is about being grounded. Earth is about kind of like really being pragmatic, being practical, appreciating plants, appreciating everything that you see around, appreciating the income, appreciating what you have. But at the same time, from what I'm seeing, there's like something that is really revolving. This is like really interesting rendition in this particular deck, because we do not see the little child on a horse. We actually do see a child holding a head. So the day is over. There is like a beginning of a new day, right? So keep in mind that when kind of like we have the sun, there's like always that is a really telling day. You need to cultivate your character. You need to cultivate your personality. There is like something that is going to push you to move forward, right? So there is no any more limitations of time and space, and you're one of those signs that is really positioning and pacing yourself very well, and you're taking this really hard if certain things do not happen how you are intending to do. Being like, I mean, shiny face, kind of like at this stage, because you're so traditional, or you're probably the most traditional from all the signs, I would say. And I would say that you will simply need to look at things a little bit in a really different light. And the reason for that is that you're getting this wolf and instinct. And we do know that they actually kind of like hunt in packs. There is like certain strategy, like there is like sort of like this major master plan, right? Maybe you felt cornered. Maybe you were giving your power away to the people who criticized you, to people who shamed you. It is really important right now to positive kind of like looking, positive thoughts. I'm not saying about being a yes man, but sort of like focusing on what is real. It is kind of like allowing your authentic self to shine, because they are like your spirit guides that are somewhere around you. I would really pay attention to the messages you're sending, especially those when you're on your own. When you're on your own, we kind of like usually relax, and we kind of like go back to not wearing that mask, which we are trying to present to be better or more successful or better looking for the outside world. If you really think about it, like, I mean, we are more obligated to do that for ourselves than for anybody else. So also the Sun card is the card 19. Card 19 consists of 1 and 9, so 1 plus 9 is 10, and 1 plus 0 is 1. So there is like this new beginning. And Berkana, like rune, is kind of like talking about the same thing. Of course, this literally means the rune of birth. So it can mean arrival of a new baby, but it's sometimes like it's more symbolic. Sort of like when we are looking into that, it can actually really talk about, you know, family rejoicing. It can talk about if, you know, you want to get pregnant, well, this is a really good time. That specifically talks to people who couldn't get pregnant, who were really trying. Well, March, January, it is your month, right? Interestingly enough, no, I don't think you're going to have another Virgo. I think you might have a Libra, kind of like nice, pleasing Libra. This definitely talks about regeneration, and you know that generally I don't speak too much about health, but you're Virgo after all, right? And just like infant needs constant care and love from its mother, like, I mean, this is really talking about the maintenance. Instinct is something where, you know, you get in touch with your body. You get in touch to understanding, oh, well, I'm feeling like I need to eat oranges because possibly C vitamin is lacking. Or you're craving to be outside. Maybe, like, you know, the sun vitamin needs to kind of come in. Now, this is also excellent news. And it can bring prospects of marriage and also nurturing partnerships. And most likely, this is really talking about the woman taking a lead. And even though the woman might be taking a lead, you need to kind of like watch over your shoulder for some kind of like groups that maybe can somehow organize themselves against you. But, you know, you guys are really kind of like dotting all your I's and crossing all your T's, and that's really important. You really need to kind of like really find your support. Who are your four walls in your life? Who can you rely upon? Who you can talk to if kind of like that hits the fan, kind of a thing, right? I really think here that there's going to be a loyalty from somebody who might be coming into your life. Maybe you have neglected understanding there is actually more underneath the surface, and not just, hey, you know, day to day, going to work, doing stuff. You kind of like really need to understand your earthy energy. So if you have it's winter, so it's going to be hard, but if you have a plant at home, touch it. Don't just like remotely kind of like, here's your water. Just kind of like talk to them. You're going to see how they are going to return the favor with kind of like blossoming and being kind of like now nicer. But I'm still also seeing that you need to shed some traditional aspects of you, and instinctual is always almost the opposite of traditional, well, at least in my opinion. And traditional sometimes brings with itself limited mindset, but it's also like, you would probably say, well, it is tried and true, why kind of like wouldn't I do that, right? So let that spirit of wolf be your teacher, and kind of like maybe call upon the help of this kind of like being, and seek for the cues, right? So you can just simply close your eyes and imagine a wolf in front of you, and just like simply have the conversation, ask questions, and then be silent. Silence is important because you get answers in that silence. So take those deep breaths and notice like also body sensations, because they will be also kind of like directing you to what you really need to do. So what I'm going to do is going to be second part, and then it's going to be third part. In the second part, I'm going to shovel. I'm going to shovel the cards, and then we are going to see sort of like general messages as well. And the third part is going to be romance and the specific spread that I have designed for 2019, or whatever is needed, which can actually affect is going to address simultaneously singles and people who are couples or married people, because more or less it's going to be kind of like seeing different perspective. You'll be also able to see perspective of your love interest, or how and where would I be today if I kind of like walk down this path. So let me start shuffling, not shoveling, these cards, and let's start with that. Alright, Virgo, let me first tell you what you have. You have Earth Queen, so that will be Queen of Pentacles, Five of Sky reversed, Five of Sky reversed as well, that will be Five of Swords, Fire Queen, Queen of Wands, Earth Kitten, and again your flavor, that would be Page of Pentacles. Then we have Five of Fire, like Five of Wands, so we have like these two fives so far connecting. Then we have Four of Earth reversed, Four of Pentacles reversed, Seeking, the King of Cups, and then we have the Priest, which is the Hierophant. So as you can see, like 1, 2, 3, 4 cards are sort of like having this earthy flavor. We are going back to that fairies, earth magic, and even the pregnancy is to some extent, whether this is like a real physical pregnancy or you're giving birth to something, you're kind of like pushing in a new direction. So Earth Queen being reversed, it could mean that partially you're going to feel a loss of some kind. You might or you might feel that somebody's like really clinging in your life, really demanding, or that you really want to have and show more than you have. Almost like as if you're doing a project and you're having such a good intentions, and then everything starts going like sideways, and all of a sudden there's like not even close to what you envisioned, and you are kind of perfectionists, and of course this probably would be very upsetting for you. But let me show you the images on these cards. Look at her, Earth Queen. She's like really this pompous kitty with her nice cushy cushions and smelling the roses and even lavender over here. So when she's reversed, like it feels the comfort zone is not there for some reason. But check this one out. I think to me this one is like the most telling of all the cards. So in this particular deck, it comes with a story that they're like these clans, right? The fire and sky and earth and so on and so forth, and water. So in this particular clan, that is like Sky Clan, these are probably the smartest kitties, right? But at the same time, they are like too independent, too rough. So the smartness doesn't mean anything if you cannot form alliances, right? But forming alliances also means who you want to form alliance with and who you don't want to form alliance with. So you have this whole bunch of stray kitties over here, almost like attacking this poor Sphinx kitty. So it is kind of like saying, hey, you do not belong here. You just, I don't want you. So this is kind of like being reversed, because this is obviously about win and lose and intimidation of some kind of like situation. And are you like, I mean, too smart for your own good, or is somebody smart for their own good in your life? Because it kind of looks like that I see here possibly some, I don't know, couple. I mean, this also can indicate work relationship, but it kind of like it's something that goes up and down kind of a thing. Five of Sky to me always talks about, laying down the swords. That situation, especially if it comes to work or relationship, when, collaboration and cooperation of the others is needed. Yeah, sometimes you have people who cannot walk and chew gum. And still, I think humanity is to kind of like try to understand, because it might be just you who is going to help them go to that next level, instead of being impatient. Hey, I have something to do, just keep doing that. Because I'm seeing that little bit kind of like a dip over here. I'm not worried about you, given that you're going toward the sun. Just I want you to remember, if you feel that you're out of sorts with yourself, mostly, that you're maybe not feeling generous, maybe you're not feeling you're feeling powerful at the cost of putting somebody down. And you're feeling powerful that you have to gossip, that you have to do something. Maybe you're going to remember my words, because you can do so fabulously without it, right? And you can modify this. You can modify this almost like survival struggle that I see over here. Then you have like this Fire Queen. And so like now we're having those two queens over here, one reversed, one upright. I kind of like feel that, you're living dangerously. Remember how I said, kind of like get out of, some perceptions that maybe you had. As I said, this kind of like tried and true kind of a thing. It's going to be, hey, let me live a little bit. And honestly, it kind of like really looks like it's almost like a birthday type celebration. Mind you, like your birthday is like coming down end of August and September, so obviously that's not the case. Or it might be somebody else's birthday that is going to be really significant. This actually really talks about possibly meeting a person. And I mean, your reading is full of people. We have a queen, we have a queen, we have a queen, we have a king, we have a page, and we have a hierophant who can be a boss, or who can be some kind of like idea in your life, sets and rules and goals that you really want to follow. It could be also religious factors that are somehow affecting you. So when I see, look at this Earth Kitten, like he is investigating his newfound friend. Little does he know that if he just like pisses this little buddy off, he's going to figure out how basically prickly this kind of like things are. So with this being reversed, like I mean, it kind of like it's going to feel like you're on some kind of like ride. It's not even a roller coaster ride, because it's going to feel going in a huge motion, first stopping, going nowhere, then lots of arguments. It's starting. Look at this. It's going. If you ever have been on a subway ride during the rush hour, it sometimes feels like that, especially when they get stuck. You're like almost like praying for that subway to start working again. Now, but at one point, actually really early in the month, you'll start getting out of that funk entirely. And this pretty much could be done with today, given the card is 5. And here we have the fire, and fire cards usually designate days. So here we see this like playful game. 5s are always about instability. Like as much as we can see here threats, here we can see, hey, we kind of like are more or less all equal, but we are going to determine now who is going to win through basically game. And if you ever watch cats playing, you're going to hear sometimes hissing and sometimes running very fast and something like raised paw, not necessarily hitting back just like as you see it here. But if the cat lies down like that, it's not necessarily in fear of the other kitties. It's sort of like opening itself to trust, and that's kind of like means trusting. But again, it's very dangerous. It's playing with fire, right? And the curiosity killed the cat. So when we see these 5, it is really about establishing some boundaries, establishing where you want to go. Maybe some of you felt that you're rejected. Maybe you are the one who rejected someone and you wanted nothing to do with them, and then maybe they keep coming and knocking on your door. It's kind of like always the opposite. So if you want somebody, they won't be showing up. If you do not want somebody, they would be. It's kind of like it's really bad problem to have. The solutions are starting to kind of like appear with you really kind of like figuring out maybe new ways of dealing that, right? And simply that can be as simple as, hey, look, I just made lunch. Do you want to come and join me? Because he has a whole bunch of toys there behind him, but he's guarding his little toy kind of like corner. And by guarding it, he's not having fun and nobody else has fun. So this card, when it's like in the opposite situation, always talks about somebody who is not willing to expand, who kind of like build the walls around them. But for you, I really feel by this kind of like rhythm that you have one step forward, one step backward, you're finally realizing which doors have been sealed, and maybe they have been protective at the point. I think some things have been protective to the point that you have kind of like lost the ability to kind of like sense things. Like when the cards show up, sometimes they're showing up telling you, hello, just look at this is what you need to do. Because it can be something as simple as this. Look, come and play with me. Or somebody kind of like who maybe irritates you, and you'll finally say, okay, fine, I'm going to have that dinner with you. Or I'm not going to kind of like leave everything to go to voicemail. I'm going to pick up the call, or I'm going to do something that I didn't do before. Maybe you have isolated yourself from the people or had issues at work and now actually going to engage. And guess what? Somehow doors will open for you. With this combination over here, Sea King and High Priest, I'm really not afraid for you. Sea King is like having support, having somebody watching your back. Sea King, it could be absolutely somebody new coming in your life. So almost looks like you're going to have not one, but two, or maybe even three suitors. One of them is not going to be great. One of them can be like a little immature, and it is up to you which one will you choose. And guess what? Looks like that you will really be more upset that you might choose the wrong one, and hence this kind of like thing, because this is kind of like abundance. Interestingly enough, when the high priest the priest shows up, it really tells choose one that you feel the closest to in terms of how and what kind of like life game you play, right? So that's why sometimes it talks about religious factors. Sort of like find somebody who kind of like adheres to the same principles, even though here it kind of like looked like you will have to be less traditional, and now I'm telling you the opposite. And I know this is sort of a conflict in itself, but I think it's really to resolve that maybe not something old, maybe there's like also something else that you're dealing with. This generally can talk about bosses, it can talk about churches and big organizations. So this simply could mean that even though you'll go there to kind of like maybe listen, maybe this is calming you down, kind of like a ceremony, but you might actually meet somewhere there, or you might actually meet somebody also in the gardens and botanical things, and also events are highly kind of like highlighted over here. But it's certainly whether or not you kind of like start all giggly and all laughingly, you're going to figure out that actually this person is more traditional than you actually would understand, and maybe you would not give this person even a second chance, thinking how overly I think loosey-goosey they might appear in life. So this person could be coming into kind of different forms, but I really think there are much different personalities over here for this. For a queen, personality is kind of like flamboyant. She likes to show off. She likes to show how beautiful she is. She likes to show how smart she is. So the Queen of Earth is more or less, she wants to possess. She wants to show that her possessions are more and better than the other people. So it's kind of like always measuring this when she's reversed. It's a really bad feeling, especially if you have somebody like you around you like that. You go on a date and somebody just talks about what they have. It's just like ugh, you know, you cannot take this anymore. But this fairy queen is like more or less talking about their accomplishments. It will be that proverbial guy who doesn't shut up about themselves, and then you go like, are you not even interested in me? Maybe this is kind of understanding, saying, well, you know what, they like to brag, especially if you're a woman, because this is how they're connecting with you. If they're not interested, they would not even really tell you, or they would tell you in a kind of like very pompous way. So maybe it's going to turn you off, kind of like how this is going, and maybe you are going to turn them off with the fact that you really need to loosen up a little bit. And then the seeking could be just the answer, could be just the right shoe that fits, you know, Cinderella story. Why? This is somebody quieter. This is somebody who is sitting, you know, on the sidelines, in a back row. But somebody who will notice that you have dropped that handkerchief, like leaving that room, and going to go grab it and say, well, this is yours, ma'am, and carry your groceries. Like, kind of like really gentlemanly, but also somebody who could be really shy, to really ask, you know, and push things forward, like this king, like this kind of like energy is. Fire is like right in the open, right? It's a big communication. But this is more or less, I really want to know if this is real. And if it is real, I really want to move forward. So hence, like, I mean, when I said marriage prospects, you might meet somebody who just will be it. The it person over here. So I think that earth magic is basically the magic that you guys are able to create. So let's go to the third part, where we are going to experience and explore different situations. So for the singles and for the people who are in couples, and let's see where this basically takes us. All right, so let's see what's going to be for Virgos. For singles, for people in relationship, for people in marriage, for on and off. I really hope this is going to answer everything, because you're going to have two categories. You'll be even able to peek if you're cross-watching, for example, for Virgo, to see kind of like what are they thinking, or even if you're Virgo cross-watching for somebody else, you'll be able to pick up on that as well. So let's see this. Virgo, Virgo, Virgo. So we are going to have, whoa, this is lovely, actually. So, let's do this. I should do it this way to make it secret. Going this way. Zoom this a little bit out so you kind of have a clue what I'm doing over here. So let's start first of all with singles. This represents actually anybody. I'm more or less seeing this card as Virgo, and it's like Knight of Pentacles. There is like this sturdy quality. I really like that black horse over here. It's kind of like showing that there's like passion still there, but this person is like really becoming the master of its elements. And not kidding, you having the earth magic, you are having Knight of Pentacles. This to me is really taking a step further. It is about you being able to be more friendly, being able to be more productive, and sort of like have, let's say, some special magic powers when it comes to attracting the right person. So singles, you have the Wheel of Fortune reversed. It might feel like, just like what I saw in the reading, that you're going down some kind of like dip. In this Wheel of Fortune, I don't know if you can see all of these fixed signs are having the book, and everybody has the white book, and Aquarians doesn't. So whether this was a coloring problem or just purposeful mistake, it doesn't really matter. But definitely Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo seem to be standing here prominently as some kind of like structure that needs to take place. So this again being reversed, first of all, it's a karmic card. So singles, you're going to go through something that might feel like a rough ride. It might feel in the roller coaster going down really, really fast. But guess what? You're going to start going up as well. So it is kind of like just like a buckle up. There's like something that maybe is kind of like taking speed, and it kind of like needs to go in this direction. And there we have, again, we have like this Five of Wands. Remember that I said it's playful kitties. They were kind of like doing their own stuff, positioning themselves. And some of you are really wondering how to move forward, in which kind of direction to go. But this is, I think you have love on your mind. I do think that some of you maybe have an eye on somebody, and maybe the relationship had its own problems, and you're really wondering, it's actually not that bad. It's the matter of establishing those boundaries, establishing sort of like in which direction you need to go. You see, after all, this is the entire life is this game of push and pull, where you kind of go forward and go backward. So sometimes you let people in your place, and sometimes you just like don't let them. It's kind of like finding that balance over there. So it might feel a little bit kind of like that you're not having control over the situation, but persistence is the key over here. So it's really important to continue, because something that will kind of like take you down the rabbit hole, it's also going to take you out on the other side, and the clarity is going to be sort of like 20/20. So let's check that person. Could be your partner, who could be maybe somebody who is just materializing karma, sending your way, right? Or that can be like you're married, your pair, you're married to this person, or already dating this person. There we have like a 7 of Cups. This person is finally kind of like coming to, let's say, senses. I always like see this in terms of dating a card, or somebody who is just thinking about options. Oh my gosh, if I say yes to you, then I don't have all these other options. So when it comes to dating being reversed, this is really a good sign, because hey, you are the one I want. Remember that song from Greece? You're the one I want. Oh, hoo. So, but look at that. They are like very, very fearful. Oh my God. Talking about somebody like being in fear. Like for the singleton that you maybe had in mind, this person maybe is stuck in a situation that needs to be resolved. Maybe there is like one more person in the game. We see this juggling over here, right? This is really the energy that needs to be stabilized. You are Earth sign, and remember, this Earth that is really coming your way, you really want something really stable. So this kind of answer your question, like asking you, like, should you go? Should you continue going forward? Do you really want to kind of go? Maybe this is why you're going to feel unhappy. You're going to go like, well, yeah, you always manage to surprise me unpleasantly. What the heck is going on? But look at that. They're going through this like enormous transformation. Remember the birth? Well, guess what? Pregnancy is dead for birth to happen. So the pregnancy is also in this card, as well as in the Empress. So there's like some essence of this person needing to figure out what are they fearing. Have they been cheated on, and now they're terrified of just dedicating their time and all their money and future to one person? Or are they immature and they need to kind of like really stabilize to the point that they need to figure out who they want, and it's kind of like choice time? Or is it that this person is not having a proper balance between life and work, or the other things? Like everybody's pulling them on all sides, and usually you will find the person saying, always about my friends and this and this. Well, what is important to you? If friends are important to you, and like I am not the kind of the person, it's going to be sort of clash, right? So that's what I said. I saw the Hierophant. It's going to be somebody who's actually very similar to you, and you actually just might be surprised that this person who appears to be out of whack is just like you're already like washing your hands, off I go. Actually just might surprise you. They're going to come up with something that's going to be kind of like a new day, new life, and so on. So let's see the couples and married people. Let's see what's going on with them. So here is this repetition of 4 of Pentacles. Remember the kitties holding her toys, and there it is, somebody holding his pentacles. It's all mine, it's all mine, it's all mine. It is the essentially, I really think the couples are going through the period of it could be a little bit harsh period. Like Queen of Swords, when she reverses, she is not the nicest person. She's kind of like Judge Judy kind of a thing. It could be a little bit of selfishness in a relationship. This is mine. So one could be a spender and one could be a savior. Isn't this normal? Kind of like how it comes in a relationship. Why to be in a relationship if you cannot fight, right? What's the point? The point of relationship is to bring our egos to the surface, and everything we do, and kids and purchasing the furniture stuff, everything has to be debate. Who is using the bathroom next, right? I'm just kidding. The Queen of Swords can have that edge, right? She might kind of like go through this kind of process, because it looks to me that, you know, there are two people who are dealing with stress in a completely different way. One person just climb up, and that's what we saw. The whole idea this month is to kind of drop these walls down. And actually, if that is you, you might just as well say, okay, you know what, let's share this glass of wine. I'm going to join you. In fact, I can loosen up a little bit. Kind of like laughing at her, at ourselves when we get too serious. I think we can all write comedies out of our lives, how sometimes we find that our life and our things are so important. And you, Virgo, and I have lots of Virgo in me, so hence I kind of know what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, it kind of like we take ourselves sometimes too seriously, especially with the perfectionistic streak that we have to do everything properly and no cutting corners, which is great, right? But if somebody just messes everything up, you know, well, what do we want to do? Do you want to bark, which is of course instinctual? How could you do that? I was spending so much time and crying and doing this, and you did this to me. That's why this person feels like, oh my God, look at me, I'm really afraid doing something. Or are you going to say, well, you know, thank you. It's the effort that we need to reward, and the next time you plan how, you know, not to get them involved, right? So the things are done right. It's kind of like, you know, life, that we need to take the bad with the good. So let me see just kind of like the universal messaging over here, and we see the Fool reversed, we see the Wands, the Ace of Wands reversed, and we see the Strength. So the Fool is kind of like the new beginning, the new enthusiasm. Interestingly, I still see here there's like a big sun. It's almost like a full circle over here, but it is reversed. It is really talking about this new beginning. Make sure if you're restarting something, if you're rebalancing, if you're repositioning, if you're setting these boundaries, because somebody here could actually have really, really high walls, and it's really hard to get to them. And this is kind of like what sometimes is being called passive aggressive. So be careful about that. You know, somebody is not ready or is not realizing that this new beginning or the second chance is useful. And I really think it's you, Virgo, because you kind of like really look through that and thinking to yourself, no. You have only 20 points out of 79. I am sorry. This would be F. Have a nice day, right? But this is telling you to persist. It is telling you that, you know, if nothing else, this is going to be an exercise in kind of like really getting like this fun part of life, and just like saying, okay, so maybe, you know, this is some kind of like candid camera, and let's see if I can really kind of like go with it and kind of like feel and relax with it. So my dear Virgos, I hope this is helpful, and I hope you like this new spread. Tell me about it. I would love to hear your comments. And please, to support the channel, order the annuals. They consist of 3 parts. The first part is general quarterly, kind of like review. And then I am going into kind of like review of each segment of your life, going through astrological houses. And the last part is going to be sort of like a Norman, where I kind of like watch the timelines and to give you more specific who and what is going to happen. There is also a big part that talks about the flavor of the next year, of the year number 3, and how that year is going to evolve, what to look for, which is also kind of like really in depth. So for sure, yellow color, and I know like going like yellow or like any bright color to Virgo is like, are you insane? But yellow color will start being very appealing to you and to all of us. It's going to be, and I don't know why they said, what was this clay color? This color of the year. I am still waiting. It will be really hard to convince me to buy anything clay that is permanent, but fine. That's probably how you're thinking. It will be really hard to convince me to buy anything kind of yellow, right? But yet, you see, I have lots of yellow pillows, which kind of are helping me, because yellow is bringing this enthusiasm. It's kind of like pushing us forward. So enjoy it. The Strength card talks about willing to settle down, willing to kind of like tame the differences, willing to kind of like even work with your enemy, if you wish. Maybe you're dealing with a situation where, you know, you're dealing with the kids of your mate, where you are having issues dating because of your own kids. So this is kind of like now pulling everything in perspective. So this is a Leo, this is a Scorpio. Look at this, like we have like 3 majors, and in this one we have both Leo and Scorpio, and also add Aquarius and Taurus over here as an overall energy. So some kind of like stabilization will happen by the end of the month, even though it's going to feel like a roller coaster ride for the part of the that road. So my dear Virgo, wish you all the best. If you want to check my tarot for a day, just kind of like join my Facebook or Instagram, because some series will be just given to subscribers. So you'll have to be on Facebook, Instagram, or you'll have to subscribe here. And I don't know if this is still the button over here, or you can just go down. And lastly, there is an option of getting on my mailing list, which is, the link is in the description. So that's for now. If you want a reading with me, check my website, cattarot.ca, and you can actually check all the different options, or simply send me an email and discuss what you really need. And I would like to hear from you. And you know what, at the very least, please tell me where you're from, who you are. It's always nice to kind of like hear that face, this, just hearing this voice on the other side. Until the next time, I really hope and wish you all the best. Kind of like follow through with things that you're signing for yourself in this particular year, and everything will work out okay. Don't worry, guys. The Sun card is extremely positive and extremely encouraging, so keep on going. And it will be interesting to see who that 8 person is. Love you guys.